and we need to put our children first. That's the way we'll have healthy children, that's the way we'll have confident children, and that's the way we will have successful children. This week the Torah speaks to us about the first 7 plagues. The first of the plagues, dam, blood. Paro's not getting it. He did not pick up on the messages. Okay, second plague, tzvardea, frogs. He's not getting it. It's just not entering. Third plague, kinim, lice. Paro is stubborn. He's not getting it. Fourth plague, arov, wild animals. Wild animals come and attack. Something very interesting about this is the way the Torah depicts their very entry and being in the land of Israel. I'll quote to you where in Exodus chapter 8, verse 17, Moses tells and is warning Paro, if you don't send God's nation, I'm going to send on behalf of God to you, to you, to your slaves, uvamecha and your nation, ubivatecha and in your house, et he'arov, wild animals, umaleu bate mitzrayim et he'arov, and it's going to fill up all of your houses. Now these are the words Zera Shimshon asks and wonders they seem a little out of place. Vegam ha'adama asher hem aleha, and they're also going to fill up the land that they are on. Thank you very much. You told me they're going to be by you, your slaves, on the land that they're walking. It's too redundant. It's too repetitive. So the Zera Shimshon answers as follows. If you look at an animal, when an animal is in its natural and comfortable habitat, it acts a certain way. To the next point, it's able to be more ferocious, more attacking, and more dangerous. As we say, there's nothing like entering the lion's den. It's much more dangerous there than out in the wild. Naturally, when an animal is outside of its habitat, it's scared. It might feel like it's going to be attacked, and it's not itself. You know what the Torah said and God did as a miracle for this 4th plague? God made every animal come with its habitat to attack the Egyptians and pay them back. What does that mean? That means the lion came with his jungle. That means that the crocodiles came with their surrounding. That means that polar bears came with the North Pole and ice and all of that cool breeze. That means bears came with forests. Each and every animal came with their habitat in order that they can be as dangerous and as hurtful as possible to pay back the Egyptians for what they have done wrong. And that's what the Torah means. Also, on the land, they will be. Because they're coming with their land, with their habitat. The lesson I wanted to take out from this part was, in life, we are able to choose our own habitats, our comfort zones. We're able to know that in certain situations, we get ticked off. We act the wrong way. You know that when you spend time with certain people or when you do certain things or you go certain places, that your fuse is short. You might get angry quickly. You might start acting arrogant. You might not be yourself. We have to choose and make a decision who we are and take that natural habitat and comfort zone and that down-to-earthness that each of us have inside of us and transport that with us everywhere. There's no reason why we ever need to compromise on the way we act depending on who we're with or where we are. I'll say something you might not like to hear. That's what you really like to hear. I know many people that when they're in Florida, they eat only kosher. At home, Sterling Road has over 20 kosher restaurants. We don't have any excuse. Rabbi, on vacation. I'm on vacation. What can I do? I'm on vacation. God's on vacation. My tefillin are on vacation. My wife's on vacation. We're all on vacation. What do I need to eat kosher on vacation for? What's the whole point of a vacation? Rabbi, you've never experienced it. You can't even connect. We set our standards. We form our comfort zones and our habitat. And at no cost should it ever be compromised. In a allegorical way, we need to be as ferocious as we always are, and as committed to God as we always are, when we are in the jungle, which I would say home, and when we're out in the open. We learn this concept from the fact that God brought the natural habitat of every animal to Egypt in order to attack the Egyptians. I'm going to end off with the last chidush, one last chidush of the Zera Shimshon. And this is mind-blowing. Fourth plague, right? Wild animals. The Torah tells us, chapter 8, verse 19, V'samti fedut ben ami uven amecha lemachar. God says to Moses, tomorrow I'm going to make a distinction. I'm going to separate between my nation, the Jewish people, and the Egyptians. Lemachar yeh ha'ot hazeh. Tomorrow you will see this so obvious. We know that all of the 10 plagues, firstly, according to many opinions, were 1 week long every month. So for argument's sake, January, for the first 7 days of January, first week of January was dam, blood. Then 3 weeks break, the first week of February, tzvardea, and so on and so forth. In each of the 10 plagues, we saw that there was a difference. We knew that there was a distinction between the Jews and the non-Jews, between the Jews and the Egyptians, between the slaves and the oppressors. The Zera Shimshon asks, why specifically by the fourth plague does God say there's going to be a separation, a distinction? They were all. I'll give an example by blood. The first plague. Do you know the Midrash tells us that from the same cup or water bottle, if a Jew would put a straw in to drink from the water bottle and an Egyptian, the Jew would be drinking water and the Egyptian would be drinking blood. A Jew would dig a well, it would be blood. Same place, or even if an Egyptian took that well over, it automatically became blood. To the Jew it was water, and to the Egyptian it was blood. There was a clear distinction. The only way Egyptians were able to get water was when they purchased water from a Jew. If they took it from them, it turned into blood automatically. Water, I gave it to the Egyptian, blood. Take it back, water, blood, water. Back and forth until they sold it. It was one of the ways that God repaid the Jews for the bondage and the slavery, was at least they were able to sell water now and get it.
Geld macht the Welt.
Exactly. So why does the Torah say there was a clear distinction by the fourth plague of the animals, of the wild animals? Every plague. The Jews used to walk in the streets, the lice wouldn't attack them. The boulders, the barad of fire and ice wouldn't hit on them. So why here? Listen to this. We said many Jews in Egypt, most of the Jews committed idol worship. They were worshiping the Egyptian gods. They were part of the very Egyptian civilization. They were ingrained. The Talmud tells us that when the Jewish court, the Bet Din, doesn't take things into their own matter, maybe they're not able to, or they don't have the power to, God himself takes things into his own matter and he pays those who deserve to be punished, he pays them back, unfortunately. The Talmud continues on to say that the punishment for idol worship is being attacked by wild animals. When the Beit Din was able to do it, it was punishable by death. Beit Din was not around, they weren't able to do it. What should have happened is wild animals should have come and destroyed even the Jews who were worshipping idols, the Zera Shimshon says. The Talmud says. What happened? God, in his ultimate mercy, said, no. He put a halt on the animals, and even to the most and the majority of the Egyptians, they did not attack. Why? Listen closely. Because they kept Shabbat. In merit of keeping Shabbat, they were saved from this calamity, from this very harsh decree, that really they should have been attacked and killed by these animals. God saw they kept Shabbat, he pushed it off. In merit of them keeping Shabbat, God pushed it off. Now watch, listen to this, hold your chairs, hold it tight. Who can tell me what is the fourth commandment of the 10 commandments? Keeping Shabbat. And this is the fourth plague. The commentaries on the Zohar teach us that there's clear connection and correlation between the two. That God accepted their keeping of Shabbat, although they did many things which were not allowed, but Shabbat they kept. He accepted their keeping of Shabbat and did not destroy them by the animals. The fourth plague was saved by the fourth commandment. And now I'm going to share something which also might be sensitive. And this is to the level we all keep Shabbat. Shabbat might not be easy. Shabbat's not easy until you've tried it. Until you tried it for real. Shabbat brings health. Shabbat brings success. Shabbat brings happiness. Shabbat brings peace. If you don't stop and spend time with your family, if you don't stop and spend time with yourself, if you don't take a break from work, take a break from shopping, take a break from social media, take a break from electronics, it is not healthy for you. It's not healthy for your relationships. It's not healthy for many things. Our success, the Talmud says, and even our financial success, is all dependent on our keeping Shabbat. It's contrary to our rationalization. Let's make a clear calculation. If I work 6 days a week and I'm able to pull in $600,000 in the year 2017, well, if I work 7 days a week, according to common math, I should be making $700,000 if I would work 7 days a week. No, if I work 1/7 more of the time, I should make 1/7 more. It's not so. The Torah tells us work 6 days, rest the 7th. Why work 6 days and rest the 7th? All of the blessing that we will see on those 6 days is based on how we rest and keep our Shabbat. Shabbat is sometimes hard to keep. People who are used to working on Shabbat, used to vacationing, recreationing, shopping, watching TV, whatever it is that we do on Shabbat, to stop on Shabbat is hard. It's to your own benefit. We can give you stories of people that we personally know that committed themselves to keeping Shabbat and they see wonders in their life. Financial wonders, health, success, happiness, all of the above. I'm going to end off with an analogy that the Chafetz Chaim gave on Shabbat, and to see how sometimes we find ourselves cheating ourselves by not keeping Shabbat. He gives the analogy of a farmer who had a laborer, and in order to organize things in his business, he told him to do so. Every bundle you put together, put in this bowl a penny. And instead of having to go and count every bundle, Well, we'll count how many pennies are in the bowl and we'll know how many bundles we have and that we're going to ship to our customers. And the farmer looks at his laborer and tells him, based on how many bundles we put together or you put together, you'll get a commission. He told him, I'll give you $1 for every bundle you put together. Very good. The laborer, simple man, starts working, penny, 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 10, 20, 30, 40, 100, 200, 1,000 pennies he's got in this bowl. He takes a look at that bowl and he's starting to get excited. It's almost like he's never seen so many coins in his life. 1,000 coins, even though they're only pennies. He looks right, he looks left. He sees if anyone's looking. And he digs his fist into the bowl, grabs as many as he can, and quickly tucks it away in his pocket. And he thinks he got the big deal. He comes to the farmer. The farmer says, okay, let's do an inventory count. He looks, he counts, and there's only 800 pennies. In essence, he gave him $800, and he has the $2 that he stole, and he could have had 1,000. The Chafetz Chaim says, when we work on Shabbat, when we produce on Shabbat, when we think we're getting ahead, we're really going backwards. We're really taking from elsewhere. We're taking away from our success. We're taking away from the health and the success and the progression of our children, of our businesses, of our married lives, of ourselves. Let's take this lesson that the Jewish people, even though they had reason to be killed on account of the wild animals during the fourth plague, God said no, because he saw them keeping the Sabbath. He saw that they stopped on Shabbat and they kept Shabbat. Let that be a reminder to us how important it is to keep the Shabbat. And as we have always heard, those who keep the Shabbat will keep them.